we have a serious problem right now, but because everything changed, we had the opportunity to meet, of course, as we said all through this webinar. And I can remember exactly the topic of the question, but are you thinking about how to keep going the event size, so the cultural related side in your single university? Because of course the webinars and online stuff is helping in this way, but in the next semesters, how are you keeping this in mind?
It really depends on how we are allowed to progress. In worst case scenario that the campus will be closed, we should be creative, invoke students' creativity, because there is a lot of young people who can come up with ideas, and try to maintain that the university, as I mentioned, is more than just pouring knowledge into young people's head. How to do that, I don't know. In case we are allowed to partially open, and it looks like in our country that groups up to 30 will be allowed for September, and then we should organize it small scale, but still get it going and make sure that that type of interaction, the cultural part of being a university, is available for everybody. And again, I don't know how to do that, but I'm counting on our students who will come up with ideas, and they'll start organizing things themselves. And all we need to do is make sure that it falls under the safe and healthy regulations of the government. And then we should be as creative as possible and make sure that this happens, because it's a crucial part of being a university. It's what makes a university.
I think in Germany, most universities expect that the next semester will also be an online semester. Maybe it will be allowed to have small groups within the university. And so we are preparing for this, but nobody can say what really will happen. If there's a second wave of infection, as some scientists say, this will change the situation a lot. And we hope that we will have students on campus. And now we have to think what to do with the students, the first year students who do not have any kind of experience. So this semester was a lot easier, since nearly all the students at the university had the experience what the university is. And this will change for the newly enrolled student, and we are facing a lot of serious new problems, but I think all of us are doing their best to cope with the situation.
I am, it's something funny, because I mean, we live in one of the worst area in Europe now, but still we want to be optimistic. And as I said, we want to think about first semester next year, September this year. We will start also having students inside our campus. So from this point of view, obviously having a large group of uncontrolled people, it will not be possible, surely, for this year. So in case of, let's say, in presence live meetings, we should really be very careful in controlling the number and the density of people, but still we would like to do at least part of this kind of events. On the other hand, I must say that in this period, probably switching from presence to distance events, not only the teaching but also the events, allowed a big increase of events that took place. So from some point of view, the cultural life of the university, beyond what is strictly education or strictly teaching, became stronger than it was before. Then probably the matter is how can we keep it as strong as it was in these last few weeks, even when we will have to do it in presence, because then there are physical limitations which might occur, we have created this series of events, you know, Marco, that are called 20 Eventi 2020. You know, the word events in Italy is very similar to the word 20. So 20 is the way of in Italy to say 20. So 20 Eventi, it means 20 events 2020. So there was this sort of joke, and we did this for people, very young people, 10 years old, up to 90 or so, not only for us and not only for our students. So this is one of the, let's say, probably good effect that it became very easy to organize events, and there were very many of them. Then the fact of being physically in one place with your friends, with people that you know, your community, it is different, and as we said, cannot be substituted.
So I think that we should be doing student-inspired socially distanced opportunities. I think we should be going into open air activities, problem-based learning. I have a vision looking out of my, my office. I have this massive flat space in front. So I think we should be doing socially distanced aerobic Zumba on the terrace. Inside our building, we have this massive atrium, and sometimes our polyband comes and plays. Well, maybe we need to place the polyband on different floors all the way around the building and see if every now and then we have everybody, you know, playing jazz and getting everything moving. I think we also have to think about our ceremonies. I feel really sorry for our graduates who expected to get their certificates in person. How do we do something about that so they feel special, and their parents as well? And we host the largest ball, the Polyball, in Europe in November. And we have about, I don't know, 6,000 to 8,000 people coming to that. I'm not sure that that will be happening this year. And I know they're already thinking about how they can stream into homes. So everybody has to get dressed up and party on at home. So again, events, events, events. As Harold Macmillan said, former Prime Minister of Great Britain, when explaining something went wrong, events, dear boy, events. And that's something we have to focus on in the future, particularly around the Idea League.